A similar message of dialogue was echoed by several church leaders. The church now urging President William Ruto to listen and act on the complaints and grievances of Kenyans that have led to a series of protests and demonstrations, leaving scores dead and hundreds injured. Now, the churches, led by the Catholic Church, want the president to outline practical measures that will see government extravagance cut down and deal with corrupt leaders and create conducive environment for businesses to thrive. A section of the religious groups also called for a blackout of politicians on the pulpit. We get more from our very own Brenda Wanga.
Unlike other Sundays in the past, the church's pulpit remained just for the clergy, devoid of politicians who have in the past used days of worship to drive their political agendas.
That will cause them to break Kenya.
The political silence coming in the wake of heightened activism by the country's youth in the past 2 weeks, where they have taken to the streets to first oppose the Finance Bill 2024 and to demand for better governance and accountability. And now the church is joining the chorus of those who want to see the pulpit reserved for religious purposes only.
Watu wako huru kuja kanisani. Waje waombe vile tumeomba, na wakishamaliza kuomba warudi. Wakiwa wanataka mikutano ya siasa wapeleke soko. Na ni vivyo hivyo katika mazishi ambayo tunaenda kuhudhuria, tuende tuomboleze, tuende tuombe na hao, na wakitaka mambo ya siasa na wao warudi nje, ili tusilete aibu. Wakati huu si rahisi.
But beyond keeping politics out of the church, clerics want the executive to be more responsive to the needs of the citizenry. In a statement, the All Saints Cathedral, which housed a makeshift medical camp during the demonstrations, wants the president to listen to the people while cautioning him to be wary of the international community and his advisors, who the church says do not have the interests of the nation at heart. They also want the president to reduce over-expenditure in government.
Let Kenyans see things changing from use of lavish cars, over expenditure in foreign trips, unnecessary and obnoxious per diems for civil servants, bloated staff in the public service, among others. We also ask the president to scrap the illegal and unnecessary office of chief administrative secretaries and personal advisors, which keep gobbling millions of shillings from public coffers.
The church also wants the president to fire corrupt and incompetent state officers, including cabinet secretaries, especially those mentioned in corruption cases, as well as advisors who have failed to serve well.
Kenyans wonder why they have to pay all manner of advisors whose interest is their selfish gain. And so, Mr. President, the more you protect these people around you, the more Kenyans will not trust you.
Saint's statement came hours after the Apostolic Nuncio to Kenya spoke on the events that have transpired over the last few weeks.
These days, yes, it was read, we have witnessed a revolution in Nairobi. What happens after this? Politics in this country will have to change. If the government wants to allay the fear and the anger, not only of the youth, but of all the Nwananchi, of all the hustlers of this great country, they cannot continue and do business as usual.
He was also critical of the security agents' overreach in handling the protesters.
Oppressors against the oppressed, heavily armed security forces against poorly protected protesters. Water cannons, tear gas, live bullets against sticks and stones. Oppression against protests. Sirens and explosions against the shouting and pleading of protesters. A state machinery shooting free at free will.
Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.